Let's begin with another main topic, monitoring and assessment. Uh, Here, we'll be looking at some of the guidelines which are set for monitoring and assessment. So much of the discussion on this topic will be, the information on this topic will be coming from, is based on Nation and McAllister text, language curriculum design. So monitoring and assessment is, some texts see it a part of overall testing. Testing is a smaller world, and assessment is a bigger term which entails formative and summative assessments. Well, here we'll be looking at some monitoring and assessment in relationship to the achieving the goals or the objectives of a course. Well, what will be the focus of this topic? We'll be looking at what kinds of assessment are needed and when they are needed. We'll be looking at some writing tasks or writing tests which are considered important to measure the outcome of a course. And we'll see to check the issues of validity, reliability, and practicality in terms of assessments. The significance, of course, it's monitoring and assessment is considered an important part of language curriculum design because it tells the planners, it indicates how the program is itself is progressing and what the students are learning from a specific program. So it's generally seen as a major source of information which we can use to evaluate the course, and if a course needs some improvement or changes, then we can make some informed decisions about the changes within a course. What I mean to say here that language curriculum design should include a well-thought monitoring and evaluation parameters. So it's important to see our own language curriculum design. National language curriculum framework from grade 1 to 12 in the Pakistani context, to see to what extent it emphasizes the aspect of testing, the aspect of monitoring and assessment. And what you see, it's how it's been emphasized and how it's been presented for the language teachers. Right. So the guidelines which I'm going to discuss here briefly are the environment. Firstly, environment entails three important parties. For example, the learners, teachers, and the situation. So the learners, they should feel good for a particular test. They should see that the test or an exam or evaluation is meant to help them progress well. So the teachers, they see that the evaluation is meant to help them see how the course is progressing, and if they need some improvement or changes, they could use them for their own information. And the situation, the test needs to be, assessment needs to be economical. For example, in the Pakistani context, it needs to match the requirements of the ministry. For example, for grade 9th to 10th and 11th to 12th, the students appear in the board exams. So this is how the situation requires that the test or assessment needs to match the requirements of the ministry. Right. And needs, what the guidelines need to look at, the lacks, for which students are joining a language program, and their wants, why they are attending a specific language program, and their necessities, what they're going to do after doing a particular language program. So The principles are also important part of the guidelines set for monitoring and assessment. So the assessment should be done in such a way which is engaging, which students see as something useful, which they could through a test, which they could internalize something and take away. So the feedback is important part of the principles, where the job of the teacher is to give useful feedback on the basis of which students could see the gaps between their present and desired performance. So these are the guidelines which we should be aware of when we talk about monitoring and assessment.